A tribute to Anna May Leidy. This amazing woman left us to be with God and her loving husband of 60 years on October 20th, 2017. She still lived in the same house where she was born 83 years earlier. Her father, a veteran and former police chief in Everett, and her mother, who worked in the home, raised 9 children, with Anna May and Arnold J. as twins, and Aunt Sylvia as the youngest. By most accounts, the Fight siblings, also including Loretta, Jim, Don, Pete, Reed, and Dale, were ornery, loving, and close-knit. Some of our favorite memories are when the families of the 9 siblings gathered over the holidays and for special occasions. The Leidy boys learned a great deal from our aunts and uncles in our formative years. Not necessarily the lessons Mom always wanted us to learn. Mom graduated from high school and soon began working. It was her job at Howard Johnson's restaurant on the Pennsylvania Turnpike that would impact her life significantly. There she met a handsome, polite, and interesting young man whose character impressed her immediately. Anna May often recalled the story of how Chuck initially asked her about her father. When she told him that her father was no longer alive, Chuck's empathetic and genuine reaction caught Mom's attention. A teddy bear purchased in the gift shop in Howard Johnson's by Chuck for Anna May could have been the game changer that led to a packed church wedding on June 24th, 1956. The 60-year marriage included the birth of 4 sons, 10 grandchildren, and 4 great-grandchildren. 60 years of truly living the vows of marriage, through good times and bad times, happy and sad times, through sickness and health. A 60-year marriage that created a family rooted in love. Is there anything more powerful, more valuable, or more beautiful than that? Anyone who ever met our mother almost instantly experienced her spirit. She refused to shake hands when she met someone for the first time. Her response to an extended hand was almost always denied and followed with a clear and important statement. In this family, we hug. Mom's spirit defined her being. It is impossible to capture 83 years of life in a few minutes, so we decided to capture the essence and impact of Mom's life by using the letters and the word spirit to share a few thoughts and stories with you. The first letter S could have been many words. Sweet, stubborn, the latter of which Mom would not have approved. So we chose strength. In a family of 6, she was the only woman, and no one will deny she was the strongest. She was the quintessential mom, which should be synonymous with the word strength. As the matriarch of our immediate and extended family, and as many of you can attest, she was never short on advice or love. The second letter P stands for pride. Often the word pride is associated with conceit. Mom saw pride as self-respect and accomplishment of God's work. She was proud of her family, proud of her community, and her home. She always taught us that it was important to take care of ourselves. Mike and David remember the cold, wet washcloth taken on trips to wipe faces before going into public, or the white shoe polish applied during church service when a scuff was spotted on their shoes. Steve remembers the fashionable jumpsuits he was required to wear. The grandchildren remarked on how Mom was stylish and always looked good. The one appointment she never missed was a weekly trip to the beauty shop, even if it was in the snow. She also kept her yard looking good, from her flower gardens to her relationship with John Deere, her other love. In fact, her John Deere riding tractor is representative of the first letter I in spirit. This letter stands for independence. Mom was a very successful independent consultant for Sarah Coventry Jewelry and World Book Encyclopedia. The independent nature of these jobs was used as a way to raise the boys while also making a few dollars to help with expenses. In fact, she was so good at convincing people to have World Book in their homes to help their children learn that the headquarters in Chicago offered her full-time employment in the city. She refused and moved on to independently design floral arrangements for just about everyone she knew. She was gifted in making silk flowers into works of art that made people smile, and oftentimes donated her work. Now, back to John Deere and how she loved to mow. With her 4 boys grown and her husband continuing to go to work every day, Mom found a new passion riding the lawn tractor. She spent so many hours on the tractor that Dad needed to trade it in for a new model each year. David recalls a salesperson at John Deere asking if Dad owned a lawn mowing business, to which Dad would reply, "No, it's just my wife." Since Mom passed this week, we have heard innumerable stories about how friends and neighbors would help Mom get the John Deere out of a ditch where it was stuck. Her sons knew very little about this. Why? Because she was independent. Friends, neighbors, and especially family were the relationships she cherished. R in Spirit stands for relationships. The most important lessons in modeling our mother did for us related to how we treat others. Respect, helpfulness, manners were non-negotiable, and at the end of the day, family always came first. This started with her immediate family. Mike was the firstborn. The 3 lived in a mobile home south of Breezewood and were joined by David 3 years later. The family moved into the home place in Breezewood and added Steve 3 years after David. 7 years later, and much to Steve's dismay, a 4th son named Mark was on the way. The true measure of an individual's impact on the world can be reflected in a variety of ways. For Anna May, the impact was most significant as the matriarch, our mother. Although she liked nice clothes, material possessions were never very important to her. Instead, her family was her priority. Teaching her boys to be humble, kind, respectful young men was her mission. As the 4 boys became young men, each got married and began the next generation of Leidys. Mom treated every addition to the family, Rosa, Lisa, Sherry, Tiffany, and Tracy, as one of her own. She became a grandmother, and for the first time, 3 beautiful baby girls entered her life. Bailey, Casey, and Megan gave their grandmother a respite from dealing with boys and a perspective on being a grandmother, a role she embraced with tremendous pride and love. As the years passed, more boys had arrived with the birth of Luke and Anthony. This was followed by Cambria and Kevin, joining a rapidly growing group of grandchildren. In the meantime, she was blessed by 3 additional grandchildren who joined the family at one time. Shane, Chance, and Paige immediately fell under the spell of a loving grandmother. When the grandchildren were asked to share thoughts on their grandmother, it was clear how much they loved and adored this lady. Although the great-grandchildren, Braxton, Colton, Kaysen, and Alika, are too young to share their thoughts, her legacy will live through them by the example she modeled and the morality she established in her family. Our parents modeled the importance of relationships throughout their lives and taught us to always treat others better than we wanted to be treated. Think about the impact of the golden rule if we all lived our lives with that sentiment. The second I in Spirit stands for inspiration. One would never use words like boring, laid back, or lazy when it came to Mom. Frankly, I think I can count on one hand the number of times I ever saw the woman sleeping. She was always on the go and finding ways to accomplish something of value. She would say things like, "What are your goals for the day?" even if it was a Saturday, Or once a job is first begun, never leave it until it is done. She shared her inspirational personality with everyone she met. There are 2 examples from her most recent stay in the rehab hospital. Her last roommate suffered from Parkinson's disease and really struggled through her first night in the hospital. Our family left Mom that evening concerned she was going to need to be moved out of the room because of the roommate's cries of pain. By the next day, when we returned, Mom had her roommate reciting the words from an inspirational children's story of a little train that wasn't sure if it could make it up a mountain, but did so by repeating, "I think I can, I think I can." Those were the words Mom's roommate used as she cried from sadness the day Mom was discharged from the hospital. "I think I can, I think I can. I love you, Annie." When we returned home, Casey received a text from a friend who worked as an occupational therapist at the hospital. The text read, "We all love your grandma. Thank you for sharing her with us. It has been a tough week here. One of our colleagues attended the concert in Las Vegas with her husband, and her husband was tragically killed. Another colleague passed away after a battle with cancer. Your grandmother has been honestly holding us together this week. She's an amazing woman, and she has no idea how healing and inspirational she has been to us this week. Remember, Mom was there to get therapy." We also recall her passion for sports, especially if one of her boys was involved, like Steve's Everett Bedford football game in which Mom was waving her entire raincoat like a terrible towel in the stands, trying to inspire the team on to victory. Steve likes to remind all of us that they won the game. We think it is because Mom took out 3 rows of Bedford fans behind us with her raincoat. The last letter in spirit is T. This one is easy. Teacher. I have been blessed to work with amazing educators in my career, yet Mom continues to be the standard bearer for an excellent teacher. She understood the need for high expectations coupled with encouragement and plenty of feedback. She never took a college class on teaching. It was just who she was. Her lessons could be as simple as the proper way to boil water or clean a window, to a much more complex lessons of how you should treat your spouse during a disagreement. Mom taught life lessons to everyone she met, and she did it in a way that you did not soon forget. Her goal was to make the world a better place, to help all of us get along with each other. Anna May Leidy's spirit defined her. Her strength, pride, independence, her relationships with people, her ability to inspire and teach are the characteristics that made her uniquely Anna May. Our mother and grandmother, great-grandmother, our sister, aunt, and friend, the matriarch of our family. Rest in peace, Mom. You have earned it. We are at peace knowing you are having coffee with Dad. Love, your family.